Hello, you're watching Encore. Coming up in today's show. Putting a history of performance in the picture, James Brown, the Beatles and Edith Piaf have all graced the stage of Paris's legendary concert hall, the Olympia. They feature in a new exhibition at the venue. French electro wizard Jean-Michel Jarre is back with his signature ambient sound on a new album featuring some unexpected collaborations. And we head to the waterways of Venice. The Italian city's known for its mix of Gothic, Byzantine and Palladian architecture. But there's some more modern designs on show this week at the Architecture Biennale. For a performer here in France, there's one concert venue that means you've made it, the Olympia in Paris. Now, the iconic concert hall's hosting a major exhibition combining rare photographs, video footage, stage costumes and vintage objects. It's a walk through the performances and artists that helped build its reputation over many decades. Julia Seeger gets a glimpse of this previously unseen collection.
Most major artists of the 20th century have played live on this stage of l'Olympia. Here, James Brown in 1966. Jeanne Birkin and Serge Gainsbourg, Miles Davis, David Bowie, Françoise Hardy and Bob Dylan, Jacques Brel and the Rolling Stones. Performances and artists that have helped create the hall's worldwide reputation.
What's important for us is that the Olympia of today brings to the Olympia of tomorrow its aura, to make sure we don't lose everything Bruno Cocatrix did to turn this venue into a truly unique and amazing place.
Until 1954, l'Olympia was a movie theater. The venue's director, Bruno Cocatrix, then shifted his business strategy towards young people, showcasing French singer Gilbert Bécaud, who soon became the idol of an entire generation.
No one wanted to take the risk to perform at the venue at first, and I asked Gilbert Bécaud. It was his first performance. I asked him, "Come with us."
His success attracted other up-and-coming artists and international stars alike. Here, the Beatles are performing alongside Sylvie Vartan, who was just starting out.
If there's anything I can do.
The exhibit sheds light on the most remarkable performances at the venue. Montand, Barbara, Johnny Hallyday, Dalida and Edith Piaf. The iconic singer performed to a full house for 3 weeks.
Tout en respectant Edith Piaf.
The Olympia, it's Edith Piaf and all the great artists. But it's also bands like Fakir, Nekfeu, Mumford & Sons. We must be very respectful of the past, but also we must turn to the future.
The
newly appointed head of the venue, Simon Gilham, says the exhibit is a way to show his ambition to maintain l'Olympia as France's most iconic concert hall.
Staying with music, French electro legend Jean-Michel Jarre is back with his second album in under a year. Electronica 2, The Heart of Noise, is an extension of Jarre's earlier work, that is, building bridges between synth and pop music. He worked on the record with some very diverse collaborators, ranging from singer Cyndi Lauper to whistleblower Edward Snowden. Luke Shrego has more.
In his latest album, Jean-Michel Jarre's gone further in collaboration than ever before, bringing musicians together from all genres and generations, from longtime partner Christophe to Sébastien Tellier, Cyndi Lauper, and even the Pet Shop Boys. The idea is a simple one, combining their musical DNA with his own. Dutch superstar trance DJ Armin van Buuren couldn't wait to work with the Electronica pioneer. And the genre mashup continues with Chinese piano virtuoso Long Long adding a classical touch to proceedings. Next up, a surprise appearance on the album from none other than...
Hi, my name's Edward Snowden.
Jarre provided the former NSA whistleblower another platform with which to speak out about the mass surveillance controversy through techno.
And if you don't stand up for it, then who will?
Electronica 2 shows that Jarre hasn't forgotten his roots. His 1976 hit Oxygen made waves around the world, selling 18 million albums and putting his name firmly on the musical map. Next came tours and concerts, from Paris to Houston to the pyramids in Cairo. A single 1987 gig in Moscow drew 3.5 million people, putting Jarre in the record books. While mainly working in the studio with contemporary artists nowadays, his works lost none of that sense of scale or innovation, as the French icon continues seeking the sound of tomorrow.
He's known in his native England as the painter of light. Now artist J.M.W. Turner's being celebrated in a region famed for its luminosity. Turner and Colour is a new show at the Common Centre in Aix-en-Provence in the south of France. It's a fresh look at the old master's trailblazing methods. Emma James takes a look.
Capturing the sun's rays, recreating their glittering reflections and painting all the colours of the sky. Joseph William Turner was the uncontested master of light, and his paintings achieved a never-before-seen level of realism. Turner's method for preparing the canvas was at the heart of his unique approach.
Turner, unlike his contemporaries, introduced a new technique. Instead of applying a dark primer, he decided to paint on a blank canvas.
Frosty Morning is an example of that kind of painting. To learn about every variation of daylight, Turner walked for hours in the English countryside.
The white background allowed him to create this glare of the sun as it rises in the morning. His shading changes subtly from this yellow as it goes up to the first rays of the sun, little by little, a blonde, becoming more and more dense. It completely lights up the canvas.
At the start of the 18th century, Turner was deemed to be an eccentric. His unorthodox technique shocked his fellow artists. He didn't hesitate to try out all new shades as they became available. Cobalt blue, orange and chrome yellow. The critics of the age thought they were too artificial. Now it's believed his trailblazing focus on colour opened the way for the Impressionists and abstract artists.
Architects from around the world have been in Venice this week as the city hosts its biennale. The event brings together professionals from dozens of countries who are showing off the best of the built environment. It's a chance to share perspectives on urban development and reflect on the impact architecture has on our lives. Charles Pellegrin has this report.
This year in Venice, architecture is on a mission to find solutions to humanity's problems. And the first thing visitors will see is this room, with its 14 kilometers of metal studs hanging from the ceiling, all built with 100 tons of material left over from last year's edition. Many of the projects presented are built with natural materials, like these houses, made of bamboo or mud. Further on, the American Pavilion gives the floor to 12 teams of architects who offer their solutions to rehabilitate the city of Detroit. Imaginative reflections on the future of decaying industrial cities, where space is given to welcome refugees and to build new government buildings.
It's not just a matter of how you deal with vacant housing or how you deal with vacant factories or vacant land where buildings have been raised, but what kinds of jobs, what kinds of infrastructure are going to be necessary to keep these cities stable.
There are also things to be learned from the past. The evidence room examines the architecture of the Holocaust. This gas column, for instance, was designed for SS officers to lower gas pellets into underground chambers. In this scenario, architecture served nefarious intentions, something this exhibit makes sure you never forget.
I mean, this is one maybe of the darkest moment of our history, but there are things happening today that are not so far from what we're representing here. So yes, of course, this was one very strong dimension of this project. It's a message also not just about let's remember this past as past, but also let's take responsibility of this past because we have this, this is the range of what we're able to do as human beings. And if we're not aware of that, then, I think we fail to actually, in some ways, avoid it in the future.
Whether they're lessons from the past or solutions for the future, they will be in Venice for everyone to see until November 27th.
And we're finishing today's show with some candid shots from Bogota. American artist Spencer Tunick is famous for his nude compositions of crowds. This time, it's thousands of Colombian men and women. Tunick says it's a pure and positive way of using the human body. The photos will be on show at the city's Modern Art Museum later this year. Remember to check out our website. You can also keep up with Encore on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.